rumble of the discourse. We've taken an abandoned concrete factory at the margins of the declining American empire and repurposed it into a battleground where 19 separate entities from across the political spectrum enter the discourse one by one and do battle to determine who controls the narrative force of the discourse. I hope you'll join me, your Southern Gothic futurist host, Dirt God Raven Mac, for each and every episode of Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy, Dirt God Raven Mac. We are once again back up in here for another Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse season. This will be our spring 2024 series, 7-week series. For those of y'all brand new to this bad boy, how the Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse works, we got 27 competitors from across the political spectrum. 2 come out at the opening bell, 1 comes out every minute after that. You get eliminated being tossed over the top rope or pinned or made to submit. Our final 4 out of the field of 27 will get these bonus points for making it to the final 4, and it all adds up over the 7-week series. The first 6 weeks, folks are trying to accumulate points, qualify for that 7th week finale, and in that 7th week they'll come out in reverse order, the top 27 point getters, and we will crown a champion of the discourse, champion of the political discourse for spring 2024. Let's look back at our previous season winners. You can see that our last season, winner 2024, not an FBI agent, won that one. Spring of 2023 and winter 2023, we only had 2 seasons last year. The police state won both of those, and then in fall of 2022, the verified blue check, or that legacy blue check, the New York Times op-ed writer, he won that one. So we are calling our abandoned concrete factory at the edge of town, we're calling it Catbird Arena in honor of our sponsorship last season from the Friends of Catbird. Shout out to them, and shout out to Catbird. Catbird is here tonight. I didn't get a chance to speak to him beforehand, but he is here. I'll most likely holler at Catbird afterwards. You can sponsor an episode, the season, whatever you want to sponsor. You can just kick me $3 for my gas money to get home from the abandoned concrete factory. My Venmo and Cash App are right there. So with all that being said, let's go on up to the ring. Our referees tonight look to be the National Guardsman and the Lady Cop. And coming out first, it is that Brooklyn Dad Defiant. Brooklyn Dad Defiant. So that internet operative dude who is always shouting out Democratic things. Your less digitally savvy friends will probably be retweeting this dude or reposting this dude, telling you that any vote for pretty much anything on earth other than Biden is a vote for Trump. He gets ramped up this time of year, and you'll see folks pumping him up. Our second competitor, let's see who's coming out here. Okay, it is a Student Justice for Palestine student protester. I'm actually glad to see them out here. Of course, it's been in the news. These protests have been going on for a while, ever since the whole Israeli bombing of Palestine started back in October. And these things for the last 2 weeks, for whatever reason, it sort of became a newsworthy item where folks were saying these protesters were violence just by setting up tents on campuses. And even locally here in Virginia, Charlottesville, they had the police came and tear gassed and maced and beat up a bunch of kids, arrested a bunch of kids, both at VCU and UVA. So student justice for Palestine student protesters out here at Brooklyn Dad Defiant. Of course, Brooklyn Dad Defiant, part of those people saying that, justice for Palestine and the Biden administration doesn't really mean anything because Trump would be even worse, but that's not a very good excuse. You're not really motivating people saying, well, we may not be doing anything, but they'll do less, because not doing anything is not doing anything. And coming out as the university president, so this university president will get a chance to address that student protester. Of course, university presidents, a lot of these universities are just pyramid scams. People think of higher education as, benevolent endeavor in society, and I guess it was at one point, but these things are industries now, man, and these colleges, like these elite colleges, they're giant endowments, and it's pretty much a pyramid scam to keep that endowment, almost like a hedge fund, to keep that thing valuable. University president is key figure in getting that donor money. That's one of their biggest things, to keep those high money donors happy. And coming out to join them is Marjorie Taylor Greene, our first elected politician to join the Rumble here tonight. Marjorie Taylor Greene, that Georgia Congresswoman, of course, she has said she is going to be voting to oust Mike Johnson as the conflict in the Republican House continues. Chaos. Of course, Mike Johnson built an alliance with a bunch of Democrats to pass aid for Ukraine and Israel. And there's a pin. This student justice protest student justice for Palestine pinned by the university president. So he did his job. He made the donors happy. He got rid of that protest student, at least tonight. And I'm sure he'll get a big check from somebody for that. We got a buzzer, and coming out to join is AOC. So AOC, we got MTG and AOC out here. Little congressional catfight might bust out. I saw a post by somebody, a comment by somebody, and there's a pin on the university president, but he kicks out about how MTG and AOC were the lightning rods, and talking about this uniparty, like this sort of centrist alliance between establishment Republicans and Democrats. It's really weird to associate AOC with MTG, because AOC's wants, to me, seem very realistic, just trying to take care of people. It's weird to think of wanting health care for everybody to be the equivalent to some of the things MTG says. I don't know how they get positioned as opposite ends of an extreme spectrum, because health care for everybody doesn't seem that extreme to me. Like, if we're a wealthy nation, that should be something that we have. Anyway, Lauren Boebert comes out to join too, so we've had 3 congresswomen in a row. Boebert, of course, all these folks will be running up for re-election. I think Boebert's maybe contested. She barely won in 2022. AOC and MTG likely going to hold on to their seats. A lot of these congressional seats, you're pretty much in there as long as you want to be in there in some of these districts that aren't very contested. And AOC over the top rope on her own. She gets back in. The university president twisting on Lauren Boebert. And here comes Hillary. Hillary Clinton, blast from the past, baby. Hillary is out. Saw her a few weeks ago on a talk show talking about, got asked about young people who were upset with the way Biden administration is handling the Israeli-Palestine issue. And she just sort of did that smug smirk she does and said, well, that's your only choice. Again, I hate to see the Democrats taking this thing lightly and feeling entitled to votes, because if you don't make people passionate to come out and vote, they're not going to vote. And it doesn't matter if Trump is worse, and he is worse, but it doesn't really matter. You still have to motivate people or inspire people, and you're not going to inspire them by telling them they're an idiot if they don't vote for you. We got a buzzer again, and coming out now, Senator Tom Cotton, that Arkansas senator. Of course, he's been one of the loudest voices complaining about these student protesters and painting them with the brush of anti-Semitism. Tom Cotton has been a big person in that. MTG tried to pin Boebert there. Tom Cotton, I'll be honest, Tom Cotton worries me sometimes, because he stayed out of the Republican presidential race this time. I kind of hope the era of Trump can end without anybody inheriting that propaganda machine and that cult of personality. But Tom Cotton, he could be the person to inherit it. And he pins MTG, gets rid of MTG. He could be the person that could do the most with that propaganda mechanism, the most destruction. And speaking of propaganda mechanisms, here comes the Tech Lord. Tech Lord coming out. Of course, Tech Lord been pushing artificial intelligence, creating a lot of fear in people. Honestly, artificial intelligence just seems like shitty art to me. But, I get it. People are worried. But artificial intelligence is mostly being pumped up as well. It's like NFTs were. It's a pyramid scam. People trying to make money off AI stocks. But also, it sort of takes the algorithm and takes out the human touch. And, of course, in the age of social media, the algorithms have kind of ruined the internet, made it way less useful, as algorithms are just too biased. But AI, take that. And the AOC knocked out, thrown over the top rope by the Tech Lord. And the police state is coming out. So 2-time winner of our Rumble or Discourse, the police state is coming out. But the AI algorithms, of course, just takes out the human touch and make them even more naturally biased and unable to stop. So really, all AI is going to do is just make the internet even worse. maybe that's not a bad thing in the long run if we just completely ruin it and make it so nobody wants to use it. Nobody's using it, they won't get brainwashed by it. So we've got a full house, 7 people in there. Let's see, let me recap who's in there. Lauren Boebert, Senator Tom Cotton, University President still in there, the Tech Lord, the Police State, Hillary Clinton, Brooklyn Dad Defiant, and joining them now is New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Of course, that cop-friendly Democratic mayor of New York City. He comes out and Hillary gives him a nice back slap right away. So again, we're going to have 27 people coming out here tonight, one by one. I think we've only gotten about 9 of them out here so far. And there is a pin, Lauren Boebert taken out. I was looking at my list of who's left and didn't even see who got it. Bob, my producer, Bob Dobolina, you got to know who did that elimination, right? Okay. So Lauren Boebert is now eliminated. And we get a buzzer. And it's our defending champion, the not an FBI agent. Something to remember for all you young folks who may be out here involved in some of these Justice for Palestine protests is beware when someone you've never seen starts showing up and trying to talk you into doing something way worse than anybody had thought of, and they're very adamant to tell you they're not an FBI agent, they're just some sort of activist that you've never met or heard of. And there's a pin. Hillary Clinton eliminates that university president. But that not an FBI agent is, a lot of times they talk about these outside agitators, and there is no outside agitator other than not an FBI agent, who, I remind you, is not an FBI agent and will not turn you over to the federal authorities and give you charges. And here comes Henry Cuellar, the Texas congressman, Democratic congressman charged with bribery, indicted on bribery charges this past week. It just really begs the question, how? And Hillary tosses the police state, so the police state is eliminated. 2-time winner, the police state, thrown out by Hillary Clinton. But speaking of Cuellar, it really brings to mind how bad of a congressman you have to be charged with bribery. I kind of feel like with him, like so many of these folks are guilty of those things, I kind of feel like he must have made somebody mad at the weird freaky sex party in D.C. and they decided to cut him out of the club. And you feel like any of these guys could get indicted for bribery at any point. And hey, here comes the immigrant man. I did not get a chance to talk to Catbird before the event because I was talking to the immigrant. I love this guy, man. We were talking about the Mexican football playoffs kicking off. He's actually from Honduras, but he big Club America fan, so I pull for Tigres myself, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, the immigrant comes out and joins things there and just bulldogs that not an FBI agent. Hillary Clinton's got a sledgehammer out there. Her and Eric Adams are going at it. Tech Lord. And over the top rope, Hillary and Eric Adams are on that apron, and Eric Adams tosses her as Ron DeSantis comes out. So Hillary is eliminated by Eric Adams. And then the immigrant got tossed. I believe that was Cuellar that tossed the immigrant. Tom Cotton tossed out. So there we got a quick thing. And Ron DeSantis up on the top rope. It jumps out on Tom Cotton. So I guess we score that as Tom Cotton eliminating Ron DeSantis by driving him to the momentary madness of losing the whole point of this thing and diving out on his own volition. That sort of shows the intelligence level of Ron DeSantis and why that man did not do well despite all the money put behind him. So we had a quick run of folks eliminated, thinned our field down, and here comes John Fetterman, Pennsylvania senator. Of course, he was considered the progressive darling when he was elected. He who only wears a hoodie, and the Tech Lord pins that not an FBI agent over there. So not an FBI agent is out, and the Tech Lord over the top rope, but he gets back in. Cuellar over the top rope, and he elbowed by Brooklyn Dad Defiant, so he's gone. But Fetterman, of course, also been very vocal about the anti-Semitism of these student protests, which sort of goes against the notion of him being a progressive senator. But who knows what that stroke did to him. He's still wearing a hoodie up there, so he's still sticking true to his I do not want to wear a suit roots. And here we go. Here comes a bear, folks. A bear. So, not sure if you've heard the controversy about how many women would prefer to go into the woods with a bear than a man. Well, here's that bear. He's coming out here. This guy is a bear that all the women want to go into the woods with. You see men being upset about that, but he's a sweet guy, man. He don't let the outfit fool you. The tattoos and the husky frame. He's actually a pretty sweet guy. I was enjoying talking to him backstage. And the Tech Lord tossed over the top rope there by John Fetterman. So the Tech Lord is now eliminated. And we have not had anybody eliminate more than 2 people so far. So as we get deeper into this thing, those bonus points are going to come into play. And here is J.D. Vance. Are you kidding me? Why is he back here, Bob? Yes. Yeah, you fake Appalachian. Yeah, you're fake. Come on up. Come. We can go at it. Meet me afterwards. Sorry, Bob. My producer, Bob Dabalina, is in my ear. I'm yelling at this idiot, Jay. Yes. Okay. Afterwards. Sorry, Bob. J.D. Vance, I can't stand. He is a fake Appalachian. Yes, he's a fake Appalachian. He's a punk-ass piece of shit, to be honest. And I would like to fight him. And sorry, our booth is right up above him, where they come out, and I had some words with Mr. Vance, and he had some words with me, and maybe I will get the chance to beat his ass with a chain in the parking lot afterwards. Christy Nome coming in. Sorry for the little side tangent there. Sorry, Bob. Apologize, buddy. Christy Nome. And it's interesting, Vance and Nome came out back to back. They are 2 candidates for the vice presidency for Donald Trump. Of course, Christy Nome, governor of South Dakota, made news because she told the press that she shot her dog. And, man, I'm going to be honest with you. That's not that shocking, and I don't mean that that I feel like she's horrible. Like, the fact of the matter is, if you have animals in a rural area, animals get killed. You're not going to find somebody to adopt your duck all the time, your male ducks. You're not going to find places to adopt your rooster. A dog that eats livestock and kills livestock, they get shot sometimes, and that's just the reality of it. Like, there's no utopia for animals where they all. And a bear got knocked over there, and so did Brooklyn Dad Defiant. So we had 2 quick eliminations. There is no utopian place for all these male ducks and roosters and dogs that eat animals to go and live and be trained. We don't train people. How are we going to train dogs? So, Christy Nome's a pretty reprehensible person, but I got to admit the notion that, the dog thing puts her over the top. There's probably about 89 things I could list that's worse about here. Here comes Donald Trump, and I was rambling about multiple things. As Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson came out before Donald Trump, so we've got quite a Republican-heavy field in here right now. We've got Trump, J.D. Vance, Senator from Ohio, Christy Nome, South Dakota Governor, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who just had Eric Adams fly off the top rope on him, New York City Mayor Eric Adams, and Senator John Fetterman's out there, too. So we have a mayor, 2 senators, a presidential candidate, a governor, and a Speaker of the House. That's the nature of the discourse, folks. It's ugly like this. It's a bunch of gross people, and they're the ones who get to occupy all the spots where they're talking. And it made sense if we saw Trump that President Biden was going to be in right behind him, and here he comes, good old President Biden. What is he, 88 now? 89? I don't know how old he is. He's old as hell, man. And Trump's not far behind him. Biden is right in there on Fetterman trying to get a pin, and Trump has got Christy Nome in a sleeper hold and got her on top, and he's riding her. J.D. Vance hit somebody with a trophy there. Mike Johnson out there. Trump nails Mike Johnson. He wants to be involved in getting rid of Johnson. Biden in there. There's a lot going on, folks. We're about to get a buzzer. Joining it is the bootlicker. The bootlicker. I actually saw when we had the student protests here near where I live and the police came. I actually saw the bootlicker the other day cheering the cops on. Actually took the time out of his day to go to where a protest was to cheer the cops. And Christy Nome got tossed there, tangled with Trump, but then Biden pushed her out, and then Trump pinned Mike Johnson, so Kristi Noem and Mike Johnson are out. But the bootlicker was at this thing cheering on the cops. And let me just remind you that the cops in this situation were dressed up like soldiers. They were in complete soldier gear, camouflage, geared up with riot shields, automatic weapons, pointed at students, ready for war. And the bootlicker was there cheering them on. And here comes RFK Jr., that third-party candidate that we're not quite sure what effect he's going to have on things, though everybody suspects he'll have some sort of effect. I am unlike a lot of folks. I do not care about third-party candidates affecting the election. I feel like maybe we have ranked choice voting and allow third, fourth, fifth-party candidates. It shouldn't be limited to two, and that's even more important with this talk of the Mike Johnson alliance for this aid package. And RFK rolls up Trump, and he pins him. So RFK Jr. takes out Trump. Is that a preview of what might happen in our election later this year? I don't know. But Trump is eliminated. And we've got a buzzer, and we've only got 3 people left coming out, and the free thinker is one of them. So it's the free thinker. Of course, if you watched a couple seasons ago, we had a whole army of these free thinkers, man. They were all exactly the same in how they thought. They all called themselves free thinkers for some reason. But back to RFK Jr., we don't know how that'll affect the election. But you know what, man? Let there be 3, 4, 5, 6 candidates. I don't care, man. And J.D. Vance is still out there. John Fetterman's still out there. President Biden's out there. New York City Mayor Eric Adams still out there. And Trump is just kind of hanging out, looking at everybody. That's really weird. He's just standing there, not even doing anything, just standing there glaring. Maybe this hush money trial is just kind of wearing the old dude out. Independent centrist coming out, of course. He's pretty hyped about this uniparty talk. That's exactly what he's been saying. He was trying to get enough signatures to run for Congress himself as an independent centrist, but he did not get enough signatures where he lives, so he's not going. And Trump is still just standing there. And he catches a drop kick from Eric Adams. Maybe he'll get out now. Biden is knocked over the top rope by the free thinker, and Trump finally gets on out. So Biden is eliminated, and Eric Adams got pinned in there by John Fetterman. So New York City Mayor Eric Adams is finally eliminated. So we've got 6 folks still in here, and our last person coming out is going to make it 7, and that's that legacy blue check. Of course, this was a guy who had that blue check before Elon Musk took over Twitter. Was very dramatic about how he wasn't going to pay for it, but has since paid for it, and he's, of course, verified on all forms of social media with that paid verification. New York Times op editor who's, talking about how the economy is good, even though it feels bad, what student protesters can actually do to help Palestine, even though it was from a very boomer perspective. And the independent centrist took out RFK Jr. So the independent centrist, that centrist got rid of the quack third-party RFK Jr., at least in our discourse tonight. So we're down to 5 or 6. That blue check on the top rope, Fetterman with a spin kick, the bootlicker nailed by there, and there's a pin by Fetterman, but he only gets 2. That's a slow count by the lady cop. They gotta perhaps appreciate the bootlicker's love of the police state. So our final 6, we got Fetterman and Vance, the senators, the bootlicker, the free thinker, the independent centrist, and that New York Times op-ed writer. Of course, nobody has gotten more than 2 eliminations still through our whole night. Usually we see somebody get 3 or 4, get those extra points, 1 point for each elimination. But nobody tonight's gotten more than 2, and the bootlicker just tosses that legacy blue check. So the last man out is not the last man in. He's tossed. So we're down to 5, and the final 4, of course, will get those bonus points, 3, 5, 7, and 10 points. Those are going to go a long way. That's going to put them on the leaderboard since nobody's getting more than 2. Fetterman screamed there. Vance still out there. Please do not let Vance get I hate that guy. Bob, I'd like to talk about J.D. Vance after the episode tonight once our post-production meeting is done, please. I know. You don't have. I know. You know how I am, man. You know how I am, Bob. All right. So we've got 2 senators, an independent centrist, a good old free thinker, and the bootlicker out there. Of course, this is the discourse. We got five white guys appearing to be dominating the discourse here at the end. Of course, we have, black and brown cop and National Guardsmen policing this thing, refereeing this thing. Of course, that is the way the empire does. It puts those people out there as the face of authority, even though they are answering to a higher boss that is most likely a white guy too, ultimately. But they get sent out there to be the foot soldiers of the empire and make it appear like we have a bold, progressive, diverse society as they beat you into submission. A couple ladders in the ring. I did not mention at any point the 7 ladders scattered around the ring that are representative of the meritocracy myth in America, where you can climb that ladder and be anything in life, which of course most of us know is a complete crock of shit. Fetterman and Vance just kind of standing there. The free thinkers have got that bootlicker on the ground and beating on him. Independent centrist kind of hanging in there. Seems to be holding his hip. Oh no, he's up. Nailing Vance. Vance thrown into the ropes, comes off, nailed with an elbow by the free thinker. Free thinker got that barbell of some sort. Little dumbbell. Him and Vance going at it. Centrist. We got 5 left, so we're going to go until only one's left. Fetterman on top of, who's he on over there? The bootlicker. National Guardsman right there to see if anybody gives it up. Of course, you can be thrown out of the ring, over the top rope to lose. You can be pinned, or you can submit. Fetterman's been bloodied up in there tonight. Free thinker with a kick to the back of J.D. Vance. Independent centrist with some mule kicks on the National Guardsman for some reason, so he's going after one of the refs there. I don't know if he just doesn't know what's going on. Big spine breaker there on Fetterman by the centrist, and then a slam. That could be it for Fetterman. There's a 2 count. Oh no, he kicks out. He's up. And then that centrist drops J.D. Vance going for the pin. And there's a pin, only a 2 count bootlicker with a quick count on free thinker. Nobody, these final 5 are hanging tough. They're staying in here. And there's a pin on Vance, another kick out by Vance on the centrist. So we're going deep into the night here. These 5 have been going at it for a little while, folks. I gotta say, a lot of our seasons the battles don't go this long. We're well over half an hour on our time limit here. Of course, time is not real. Fetterman and Vance are trading blows there, man. We have got a serious senatorial debate with the fists going on out there. Centrist over in the corner, the bootlicker and the free thinker taking their time just to watch Vance and Fetterman beating on each other. And the centrist kind of playing it low-key, hiding out in the corner, avoiding a lot of this conflict. He's been milking that knee injury and just kind of staying away from everything. Fetterman is laid out. Vance punching the bootlicker and then misses with the elbow. These men are taking a beating. All 5 of them. National Guardsman throws, and there's a pin, only a 2 count. It's hard to keep track of everything that's going on, man. That's the nature of the discourse. It's hard to keep track of, and it's unfortunate that I have to keep track of it to do this series for the next 7 weeks. I'm a little bummed about that when I got the text that we were starting another 7-week series. And Fetterman with a 2 count on Vance, and then a DDT on Fetterman by the free thinker. The centrist and the bootlicker test of strength over in the corner. There's a backflip. Centrist is awfully close to the side, and the free thinker pins Vance. Vance is eliminated, so he will not get those bonus points, thank goodness. So the 4 men that'll get bonus points are going to be John Fetterman, the free thinker, the bootlicker, and the independent centrist, and they will now battle for position. 4th place gets 3 points, 3rd place gets 5, 2nd place gets 7, and our winner gets 10 bonus points. And pretty much if you get that bonus for winning it, you're most likely you're going to qualify for the finale in the 7th week. Here on night 1, I would say even 2nd place most likely is going to qualify for the finale. So it's good to start this series, finish 1st or 2nd, and lock up your spot in that final finale and try to be the champion of the Discourse. You get an inside track. So let's see what happens with these 4, and then Fetterman just ran into the lady cop. And Centrist and the bootlicker double teamed the freethinker, and then Fetterman hits the bootlicker with a kick. Freethinker has one of those briefcases. There are 23 briefcases scattered around the ring. These are lobbyist and super PAC briefcases filled with money. The Centrist and bootlicker locked up on the ground again. Fetterman just been kicking left and right, man. He is coming with the kicks, the spin kicks, the boots. He's a big dude. And he tried to get the freethinker there, and the bootlicker's moving that ladder, and then the lady cop just threw that barbell and knocked the freethinker down. And here goes the Centrist holding that knee again, milking his injury, kind of avoiding the conflict, staying out of the melee, picking his spots. It's a good Centrist. A true Centrist is going to avoid the deeper discourse and pick his spots. And there's a pin on the bootlicker by the freethinker, only a 1 count. Backflip on the bootlicker, and Fetterman goes for a pin, but just gets knocked off by the freethinker. They're moving left and right. No alliance is really made here. Nobody's aligning with anybody. They're all going after each other. And there's a big roll, like suplex on the bootlicker by the Fetterman, but then Fetterman gets kicked off, and now everybody's getting smashed on everybody out here. All on that ladder, and there's a scream coming from somebody. I don't know who that was from, but they're locking up. All 4 of them are down. Freethinker gets up first, and he's going for a pin on the bootlicker. Is this it? Nope, just a 1 count. Into the ropes, and the freethinker rolls over the National Guardsman, and now he's fighting with the Guardsman. Double middle fingers for the Centrist. And there's a smash on the Centrist. Freethinker probably could have got a pin there. He's got that ladder, looking to set it back up. Fetterman kicking the bootlicker. The Centrist got that bootlicker up and drops him. Fetterman covering the freethinker. This could be it, too. And that's a kick out by the freethinker. He is not pinned yet. Fetterman catching some elbows now. So our final 4 are hanging tough. Nobody can seem to take each other out. And there's a flip by Fetterman. Freethinker kidney punch on Fetterman. Fetterman dropped on that ladder, and there's a pin by the freethinker, and that is it. Fetterman is out, so Fetterman gets those 3 bonus points, but he is eliminated. And man, he took a beating out there tonight too. He was out there for a while. He took quite a beating. So our final 3 now: the bootlicker, the freethinker, and the independent centrist. Wow, what a piece of discourse we are having tonight, folks. And the centrist drops the freethinker over his head and goes for the pin, and that's a 3 count. The freethinker is out. So now we are down to just 2, the bootlicker and the independent centrist. So one of these men these 2 men likely qualified for our finale. Whoever wins will definitely qualify, I would say. Whoever comes in second, probably a good chance, but let's see what happens here. The bootlicker and the independent centrist, and Fetterman is eliminated and climbed one of those ladders in the ring. You can't see him. He's off camera, folks, but he's on top of one of these ladders. Of course, the freethinker just standing there. He won't get out of the ring. Bootlicker putting a beating to the independent centrist. It looks like this is the bootlickers to win, to be honest, and he spears him. Centrist still holding that knee. Freethinker finally gets out, and Fetterman is laid out on top of one of those ladders like he's laid sideways up on top of it. You can't even see it because it's off screen, but what is going on? And now the National Guardsman goes up there too, and he climbs back down. All right, I got to focus on the match. I'm wondering what the hell Fetterman's doing up there. Centrist on top of the bootlicker, giving him some blows, and the bootlicker rolls him over. They're going back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, you can see Fetterman just briefly there at the top of your screen, folks, if you're watching at home. And there's just a 1 count. And Fetterman, you can see him on the screen now, folks. He's on your monitor. He's just laid sideways on top of that ladder. I have no idea. And the bootlicker saluting the police. And the centrist drops him on his back. Is that it? That's got to be it. That's a 2 count. It's a kick out. The bootlicker will not give it up. He kicks out. So the independent centrist, proud unipartitarian, I guess, Fetterman falls and is back in the mix here. He needs to get out of the ring. He's been eliminated. He falls over. And the centrist beating on the bootlicker here. Has him with a spin, and there's a pin, and that's a 2, a slow count by the lady cop, but not enough, not slow enough. The independent centrist beats that bootlicker, man. Took him with that suplex and pinned him and got the win, even with the slow count. Your winner tonight is the independent centrist. So let's look at that replay. You can see right here, Fetterman is in the way there, but the independent centrist locks up that bootlicker behind the ladder, suplex, and gets the pin. And there's a slow count there by the lady cop, but not slow enough to not let the independent centrist get the win. Wow, man. What a long rumble we had for our first episode of our spring 2024 series. Tonight's results, you can see at the top there, the independent centrist had 13 points. The free thinker and the bootlicker both got 8. I don't know why we put them in separate lines, Bob. We need to let the intern know they can go on the same line. John Fetterman got 5 points, and then we had a batch of people eliminate 2 folks each. The university president, Tom Cotton, the tech lord, J.D. Vance. Oh, J.D. Vance. Hillary Clinton and Henry Cuellar, they all eliminated 2 people to make our leaderboard. And, of course, that is our standings after 1 week, but we will be doing this the next 6 Monday nights as well, folks. Every Monday night for the next 6 weeks after this, we're going to continue this series each week. 27 folks coming out and competing to be the winner of the discourse for the night. And then that 7th week, I'm not looking at a calendar to figure out when it is. It's 7 weeks from tonight, or 6 weeks from tonight. We will have our finale for the spring 2024 discourse, and we will crown the champion of the discourse. Always a horrible thing to go through for myself. 7 weeks of this is just painful, and it means I have to pay attention to the discourse to know what I'm talking about when these assholes come out. It is an ugly, ugly thing that I have somehow made a part of my life. Of course, our Monday Night Rumble at our Discourse is sponsored by my Southern Gothic Futurism Patreon. If you don't know what a Patreon is, it's where you support someone and all the art, content, whatever it is they're creating in life. You're just supporting them across the board on a monthly basis. I have a large number of supporters. I appreciate each and every one of them. But you can click that link in the description here, and you can see that Patreon, and you can support it too. So if you stumble across this, just know this is what the hell I do, man. I'm Dirt God Raven Mackin, and I believe in Southern Gothic Futurism. And unfortunately, Southern Gothic Futurism has to outlive the discourse, and this is how we try to do it. So, till next week when we come back with week 2, hopefully J.D. Vance won't be here, but remember, Bob, I want to talk to you, my producer Bob Dublin. I want to talk to you about J.D. Vance, okay? All right, buddy. But we will be back next week, and until then, thank you for tuning in. Salam.